Hey guys, I sent a notice to you all earlier today about this assignment, and it is the SQ4R assignment. Um, in that first announcement that I sent you guys today, I let you know that this is the final part of assignment number one. The first part of assignment number one you finished, and that was the vocabulary log, and you took the vocabulary test, and you guys did pretty well. The second part of this assignment is the annotation, which most of you have done, and I'd say the majority of you did it pretty well. And the final part of the assignment is what I'm explaining to you today. It is the SQ4R. You will need this document, which will be loaded into Blackboard in a little while, and you will need the very same chapter that you have been working on this entire time. It is the chapter on race and ethnicity. Pull it out because you're going to need it. It's really everything in terms of this assignment. So I want you to look up here. It's too bad this is written in such small font. I want you to take a look at the S, the Q, and the 3 R's. So an SQ4R is a great way to study. In fact, SQ4R as a study strategy has been researched extensively. It's a great way to study, and the reading department decided some time ago that this was the best study strategy to to push and to have you guys learn in the Reading 030. The S in SQ4R stands for survey, and before I talk about this document that I'm showing you on the screen, let me share this with you guys. The best form of conducting a survey is something you've already done, and that is you've annotated. When you annotate a document the way that you guys have annotated the pages from the chapter on race and ethnicity, annotation is a great, outstanding way to survey or to look at a chapter before you actually get into seriously reading it. So when it comes to the S part or the survey of the SQ4R, if you all have not finished surveying the entire chapter, you will need to do that in order to complete this document. The Q stands for questions. So in our SQ4R, you now understand that a survey, one of the ways a survey can be done is through annotation. This next piece is the question. And it is really very simple. You're going to take the headings and the subheadings, which we've done right here. You take a look at part C. It asks, what are the main subheadings? Well, there are many more subheadings than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. In fact, there are probably 20 headings and subheadings in the chapter on race and ethnicity. But I want you to list 7. And as you can see, and I'm continuing to use my mouse to show you with the cursor, I've indicated racial types as a subheading. By the way, give me the page number. I've indicated minorities is a subheading on page 340, and that prejudice and stereotype, that's another subheading. That's on page 432. When you list 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 titles, 7 headings, 7 subheadings, you're going to need to give me the page number. Notice all I'm doing here, all that's happening is that I'm showing you some examples. This is not complete. You need to fill all 7 of these lines. Let me say now, if you want to do this with a Microsoft Word document, knock yourself out, feel free. If you want to use this document that I'm going to upload to Blackboard, as you can see, I'm going to recommend that you use colors and that you print neatly. So let me come back up here, fill in your name, fill in the date. You could put the course and the section number. It's going to ask you the title of the chapter. There's the title of the chapter right there. This is general information that I want you to complete under section number 1 about survey. And then I want you to come down here, complete B, ask several questions in part B, and then part C is where you're going to list the titles and subtitles, and you're going to give me the page number. You can pick whatever 7 titles or subtitles you want. I've shown you 3 here. Does not have to be these 3. It's your call. Part D. As you know from looking at the chapter, there are a number of illustrations, there are lots of graphs, there are lots of charts, and there are quite a few pictures. I want you to pick 1, pick 2, it can be 2 illustrations, it can be a chart, it could be a picture. Describe that picture or that chart or that graph and give me the page number. Don't worry about E, don't worry about F, don't worry about G. All right. Now we're on the next page, part 2. This is where you really start to begin the studying part. Part 2 is asking you to turn these subtitles right here, racial types, minorities, prejudices, stereotypes. You're going to actually turn those into questions, and you're going to list those questions here. Or if you want to create a Microsoft Word document, that's fine. You can do that too. I want you to create your questions using who, what, where, when, why, and how. Those are the only question stems. So my question about racial types, which I found on page 428, that question became the following. What are racial types? How many racial types are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I wrote in 6 and I wrote in 7. Again, Microsoft Word document if you want to. Then what I did under part 3, after I asked the question, I'm now answering that question in part 3 under item number A. My question was, what are racial types and how many racial types are there? Here is my answer. Where did I get that answer? Let's go right here. Oh, right here, page 428, and take a look. There's the passage on racial types. Where did I get my answer? I got it from here. I went back to the document and I read that passage on page 428. One more time. What are racial types? How many racial types are there? Go to your chapter on race and ethnicity. Go to page 428. The answer is racial types are invented from more than a century ago. Scientists took those physical diversity and put them into 3 racial types. Those categories are Caucasoid, Negroid, and Mongoloid. Please notice that's not a short answer. It probably should have been longer. You have to give me a full and complete answer that is at least 2 to 3 sentences long when you are finishing part 3. Let's scroll down. You will have your answers in this section. Okay, now you're asking the question, how do I create a question from a subtitle? I've given you several examples. Oh, you're welcome. Look, the subtitle is Prejudice and Stereotypes from page 432. My questions, more than one, what is prejudice? What is stereotype? And how are these concepts related to one another? Notice I used what, and I used how. Subtitle, Racial Types from page 428. What is a racial type and how many racial types exist? And then on page 435, Theories of Prejudice, here are some of my questions. How many theories of prejudice are there? What is the name of each theory? What is the meaning or a summary explanation of each theory? Take a look at this notation. Please note all of the answers that you're going to write, and you can handwrite them if you choose. have to be a minimum of 2 to 3 full sentences for each question. I showed you that. I demonstrated that in my example. Here is the subtitle on page 428, racial types. Here is the question that I created. What are racial types? How many racial types are there? And here is my answer. You're going to repeat that process many times until you finish this document. Let me say to you again, if you would rather create this on a Microsoft Word document, feel free. If you want to hand write your answers, please use color and please do this very neatly. I have already sent, I'm getting ready to send an announcement to you guys about this last part of the assignment number 1. I'm going to say again, 3 parts to assignment 1. The annotation is finished. The vocabulary is finished. The SQ4R is something that you're getting to work on right away. As always, make sure that you guys place your questions on our Blackboard discussion. Let me know if there's anything else I can help you with. You will surely have questions for me. Again, Blackboard is the place to ask those questions. All of these documents will be available to you in just a little while. Keep watching Blackboard. Make sure that you're putting your questions on our discussion board if you need that help. All right, you guys.